Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. So let's talk about the wave structure here as we're heading into the weekend. Maybe we should start on the daily chart. Also for everybody who's new, then we take a quick look at Bitcoin dominance. I think we haven't done that for a while. And then we can take a look at the shorter time frame wave count as well. If we talk about the daily chart, it's pretty good to see that Bitcoin is following through. Confirming our bullish perspective at the moment. Of course, it's important to stay focused on the relevant key levels, also support levels, to understand when the uptrend is changing. At the moment, the uptrend is still ongoing. Our micro supports have been holding, and Bitcoin broke out of this trend channel to the upside, this trend line, which is good to see as well. Which, the trend lines aren't to be taken too seriously when we do Elliott Wave analysis. The Fib levels are more important and the microstructures to confirm the current trend. So so it's all good. It's all good. Bitcoin has now pushed further into the ideal target area for this wave 1 that we've been discussing that started on the 11th of September. A wave 1 of a larger degree third wave. Yeah. So as long as we are sort of in this region and don't break above 43K, this wave count will remain absolutely valid. The other scenario would be that if we break above 43K, it needs a reinterpretation, because then this wave 1 will get too long. Okay, so yes, there are other interpretations that could be used. Maybe a more nested 1-2 setup or something, but also there, ideally we don't really want to move up too much without a deeper corrective pullback, or at least some kind of a pullback, because otherwise it takes too much of a let's say corrective look. For example, to give you here an example, if this is a 1-2 setup, this here is the next 1-2 setup. We ideally don't want that the second wave 1 is getting longer than the 78.6 extension level of the first wave 1. Now, if it does, it's not necessarily bearish, but it reduces the likelihood of a 1-2 setup. Other scenarios, also bullish scenarios, will be possible, but obviously we need to understand when the parameters of the direct primary wave count are changing, okay, and are not respected. So what could be, for example, is that it's still a 1-2 setup, but with a very long wave 1, which is just unreliable. We would then really need to take a look at alternative scenarios. For example, that this move up is just a B wave. So we have an A, B, C structure, and that could lead to a major downturn afterwards. Still though, as long as our green support box is holding, even in this scenario, everything is still good. And we can still count it as a 1-2 setup. It just means we need to be more on the side of caution. But for now, the price is just following through the current local uptrend. There's still a lot of space all the way up to 43K in this current scenario. I mean, we talk here about roughly another 10% that Bitcoin could be doing without changing here the wave count. And bear in mind, the trend is up until the first micro support level is broken. We use the daily chart not to predict, let's say, when exactly the wave 2 will start. We highlight where it should start, but we use the micro support or the micro structures that we analyze on the 1-hour chart to get a first understanding when that wave 2 pullback has started. And as long as the market is following an uptrend and is not breaking even the first micro support levels, we expect further upside. And as I said, even the microstructures ideally would point towards further upside. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. We haven't done that for a little while. So Bitcoin dominance. There you go. Just loading. So yeah, Bitcoin dominance might still get another high. In my last video when we looked at Bitcoin dominance, I explained to you that we're still holding the trend line and that this pattern to the upside looks fairly incomplete. One more high would be a reasonable expectation. Now always bear in mind that Bitcoin dominance, analyzing it with Elliott Wave is not too reliable, because we're dealing here with percentages and you can't really use Fibonacci extensions because the highest it can go is 100%. and the lowest it can go is 0. So you're sort of moving in between this sort of within these boundaries. And also in addition to that, it's not really a tradable asset. However, we're still using it, Elliott Wave, to track some basic structures. So far, it has played out. It reached our target area there, our resistance area there recently, respected the 50% FIB level there at 54%. And now we are watching if we can even get higher to the 61.8%, which is at 58.05% Bitcoin dominance. And just bear in mind, when that trend line breaks here and we see a move down, this could be the start of an altcoin season. Now let's take a look at the shorter time frame wave count for Bitcoin. Here the situation is still unchanged. We still watch for higher prices here ideally. Would like it to stretch into the 41 to 42k region. Ideally not above 43k. There's also the 1.618 extension of that A wave here. So again, 2 wave counts. The first one was that we're dealing with a triangle A, B, C. This seems to be playing out, was our primary wave count. The thing is though, a break out of a triangle normally is followed by very impulsive price action or very rapid price action. We didn't really get that. Okay, yes, we made a new high, absolutely. And I understand it's difficult for Bitcoin to work its way through the resistances and to, whenever obviously we're making a new high, there are many doubters, so there's a lot of selling pressure as well. So Bitcoin is just moving up very slowly. So I also indicated to you another wave count, another possible wave count, which is here in yellow. Doesn't really make the targets or affect the targets in any way. It's just an explanation of why things might be a little bit slower. So we have here a wave 1, wave 2. The wave 3 is now in the making, then a wave 4 and a wave 5. So ideally we push a little bit higher in that third wave, which is a C wave, okay, in this diagonal pattern, an ending diagonal. If we push a little higher, at least to 39,550 would be ideal. Then we should get still the wave 4 pullback and the wave 5 higher in this larger C wave. So that all would be ideal. Just a different way of understanding the structure here. Basically in this yellow count, we are currently in a third wave and ideally still push higher. But as I said yesterday, we're now in a territory where the top could absolutely be in. I mean, for the last few weeks, we've been watching for higher prices still in our primary scenarios. They have come, the analysis has come true. And with every high, obviously probabilities for a pullback get higher, but don't automatically assume that a pullback will start. I would like to see at least a first break below micro support, and that will really only be the first indication. And that would be here, a break below $37,500. So if we get a break below that level, I think it's the first, it would be sort of the first break of micro support. And I would then explore if the larger degree pullback has started. That's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You can find the links for those in the video description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.